Hello and a very good morning from the Scottish capital Edinburgh. Now today I'm going to be travelling aboard the inaugural Lumo service down to London King's Cross. For those of you who don't know, Lumo are a new low-cost operator that operate between here and London, and it'd be interesting to see what competition they bring to the other operators of the East Coast Main Line, given that their tickets are dirt cheap. I paid less than 15 quid for my ride down to London today, which is, well, put it this way, less than half of what I would have paid with LNER. So yeah, I think we'll just go check out Waverley Station and check out Lumo down to London. Should be interesting, this one. Let's go. But before we get the video started, don't forget to subscribe and enable notifications as I publish new trip reports every Friday. You'll find Waverley Station right in the heart of Edinburgh city centre. The station features good interchange access to both the city's bus network and Edinburgh trams. As we enter the station, just to your right you'll find Waverley Mall, where you'll find an abundance of shops and eateries. Moving further into the station, we find the concourse itself. Here you'll find a few self-service ticket machines as well as a small selection of cafes and shops. It was also nice to see that Lumo were doing a good job of letting people know about their new service. Plenty of large advertisements such as this one can be found within the stations they serve at the moment. Towards the other end of the concourse you'll find large departure boards. Our train, the 0911 to London King's Cross, is currently showing as on time. Now of course, I couldn't do a tour of Edinburgh Waverley without showing you the old booking hall. Just as with the rest of the station, this dates all the way back to 1860 and sure is a beautiful piece of architecture. Just off to the side you'll find a travel centre which includes staff ticket counters. While run by LNER, they sell tickets for all operators including Lumo. Before too long, the time comes to head over to platform 5 to await the arrival of the first ever Lumo service. Before our train arrives, here's one of their competitors, LNER's trains arriving ahead of its journey to London. It'll be interesting to see how Lumo affect their operations and pricing on this route. I reviewed LNER's Azuma service in a previous video, which you can find a link to in the top right corner of the screen now. And here comes our train, not just arriving fresh from the depot but also from months of testing. Lumo operate a fleet of 5 of these Class 803 electric multiple units. Just as with the Class 800s, 801s and 802s, these are part of Hitachi's AT300 family of trains. The Class 803s are authorised for speeds of up to 125 miles an hour or 201 kilometers an hour. As you can see, the all blue livery is pretty simple, but I think it still looks nice enough. Well, time to get on board and see what Lumo are all about. Lumo's trains are formed of 5 carriages, all of which are standard class or second class. Seating is laid out in a 2+2 configuration, consisting almost exclusively of airline style seats. I've been allocated Coach B seat 25 today, which, despite requesting a window seat when booking, is unfortunately an aisle seat. Before we set off, let's just take a quick look at what the seats have to offer. When you consider that Lumo is a low-cost operator, I think that legroom is rather good, don't you? Each airline style seat features a nice big and sturdy tray table, which can be extended by quite some way to accommodate larger items such as laptops. Above the tray table you'll find a little reading light. This has 2 levels of brightness, and I think that this is just a really nice and well thought out feature. Underneath the seat in front you'll find both a 3-pin and 2 USB plug sockets. I found the seats themselves to be very comfortable indeed, and certainly an improvement over other operators' Class 800 family trains. They've even been made so that they're in a somewhat reclined position, which I think really adds to the overall comfort. Lastly, you'll also find a window blind, a coat hook and the electronic seat reservations over here, which rounds off what in my opinion is a fantastic hard product. Just prior to departure, it was brought to my attention that there were a limited number of unreserved seats in Coach E, so I plonked myself down here so that I could have a window. Before we depart, let's just take a quick look at our route for today. Our journey will see us travelling south from Edinburgh, stopping at Morpeth and Newcastle, before running non-stop to London. Our scheduled journey time today is 4 hours and 37 minutes, and we'll be hitting speeds of up to 125 miles an hour or 201 kilometers an hour. And we depart Edinburgh bang on time at 11 minutes past 9.
Our great adventure has... We're going to... London! Say bye-bye Edinburgh. Say thank you for having me.
Please contact a member of the team or text the British Transport Police on 61016. Shortly.
We're soon picking up speed as we head south away from the Scottish capital and towards England. We actually spend a fair bit of time travelling at below line speed as we are stuck behind slower stopping services. While this is currently timetabled into our journey, hopefully the next timetable change will be more accommodating to Lumo's fast services. We soon find ourselves running alongside the North Sea coast. This is by far and away the scenic highlight of the trip. I've travelled this route more times than I can care to think, but the scenery on this portion never fails to impress me. As we cross into England, be sure to keep an eye out for a fleeting glance of the Scotland-England border marker. A few moments after crossing the border into England, we pass through Berwick upon Tweed and cross the River Tweed on the Royal Border Bridge. Approximately 1 hour and 20 minutes after departing Edinburgh, we arrive at our first cooling point of Morpeth. Once one of England's main market towns, Morpeth is now home to around 14,000 people.
As we pass through with the identical green bags, so we can recycle these for you. This will be swiftly followed with a general waste card to remove any further unwanted items. Thank you.
New and E.
Just under 20 minutes after departing Morpeth, we arrive at our next and last intermediate stop of Newcastle. I must say, it does feel very weird here seeing the departure board saying that the train proceeds to call at London King's Cross only, given that the only service to do this prior to Lumo was LNER's early morning Flying Scotsman. As we pull out of Newcastle, be sure to keep your eyes firmly gazed out of the left-hand side of the train for some good views of the city as we cross the River Tyne.
Good morning and a very warm welcome to Heathrow.
As we pass Durham, the stunning Durham Cathedral is visible off to our left. This impressive structure dates all the way back to the year 1093. We slow down significantly as we pass Darlington, as we once again find ourselves trailing a slower service.
Where are we then?
Baggage as we do come through with the trolley, and do mind your elbows, arms and legs. Thank you very much, and we look forward to serving you.
Shortly after Darlington, the crew pass through the train with an at-seat service. In terms of onboard catering, quite an extensive menu, including a range of sandwiches, is offered if you pre-order no less than 10 hours prior to departure. Unfortunately, the buy on board selection is limited to just crisps, biscuits and drinks. That said, I did find the menu to be somewhat reasonably priced, with my crisps and coffee setting me back £3.85. And here we are travelling close to our line speed of 125 miles an hour. Even at these sorts of speeds, I still found the ride quality to be rather smooth. We soon find ourselves passing the National Railway Museum as we slow down on the approach to York. I'd say York is the most notable stop we miss on this trip. None of Lumo's services stop here in Yorkshire, and I must say, it's a very strange feeling as we pass through Platform 3 without stopping, even if it is only at 30 miles an hour. Once we've passed York, it's full speed ahead towards London. Time for a wander to see what else Lumo's trains have to offer. In the front and rear vestibules, you'll find some fold-out seating. I'm not exactly sure what the purpose of this is, but I guess it could be useful if the train is busy. I'm currently in Coach A, which is where you'll find a couple of spaces for wheelchair users, as well as a large accessible toilet. One thing that Lumo said prior to launch is that their trains feature toned down lighting. However, it would appear that this just means tinted luggage racks to give the illusion of mood lighting, while still maintaining the obnoxiously bright lighting that plagues all other Class 800 family trains. In terms of luggage storage, there's plenty of space for storing smaller items on overhead racks. For larger items, you'll find stacks at the end of the saloon. You'll also find additional luggage storage as well as bicycle spaces in coaches B and D. The bicycle spaces are free to use but must be reserved in advance. Toilets can be found in the vestibules at one end of most coaches. And considering that we'd already been travelling for around 3 hours at this point, I found these to be clean, well stocked and in good working order. One last thing, as you would expect considering they're brand new, these trains are Wi-Fi enabled. You can use the Wi-Fi to access the onboard entertainment system through the Lumo app, where you'll find a range of movies and TV shows. And as for the Wi-Fi speed, as trains go, I found it to be pretty good really. The sight of Bounds Green train maintenance depot signifies that we are near the end of our journey today, so this seems as good of a time as any to summarise the Lumo experience. Overall, I think that Lumo offer a very good and comfortable experience. The seats are certainly better than what you could expect on LNER, and I found that the experience was just a little bit more polished in general. I'd also just like to give a quick shout out to our crew, or ambassadors as Lumo call them. Both sets of crew we had were fantastic and really helped to provide a very high level of service. My only two main gripes would be that I wish there was a better system for selecting seats, given I requested a window seat when booking but boarded to find I had been allocated an aisle seat, and that the buy on board catering was a little bit more extensive. But other than that, everything was fantastic really, and not least the price of my ticket. I paid just £13.10 for my advance single, including railcard discount of a third. While this ticket was fixed to this specific train, I think that represents exceptional value for money, especially when you consider that the cheapest LNER fares I could find were just over double this. Personally, I think that Lumo are really onto something here. They offer a more comfortable experience than their competitors, starting at less than half the price, but as always, I appreciate that these are just my thoughts and opinions, so what did you make of the Lumo experience? Are you thinking of travelling with them in the future, or maybe you have already? Be sure to let me know in the comments.
Doesn't feel like we're going to get stopped.
Hmm?
Feels speedy, doesn't feel like we're going to... No, it's been fine.
I warned you about the commentary.
Welcome to King's Cross Station in central London, where we even arrive 5 minutes early at 17 minutes to 2 in the afternoon.
Wait for the train to stop. Right, let me put my backpack on and then I'll be able to...
So yeah, that was a really nice ride down from Edinburgh. The seats are amazingly comfortable. They're just such an improvement over other Class 800 family trains, and the whole experience just seems a bit smoother, a little bit more comfortable, and just basically how they should have been when they were introduced into service. I don't dislike the other ones, but that is real improvement. And when it's so cheap, I think Lumo get my recommendation over LNER. Anyway, I do hope you enjoyed the video. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and enable notifications as I publish new trip reports every Friday. Thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you next Friday.